My research project this quarter was focused on the organic food system in America. I specifically dialed in on organic agriculture rather than animal farming systems. My motivation for choosing this topic really came from observing the stark rise in organic's popularity in the media and among people I knew. What I witnessed in my circle of friends and family was reflected in grocery stores as well. Organic has come from being a very small market commodity to taking over a large part of our agriculture industry. Businesses such as Whole Foods and natural grocers dedicated solely to selling organic foods have appeared, and even in DU's own dining hall, there are now multiple organic options. The specifics of what I wanted to investigate in organic developed in my 10th grade biology class, actually. My teacher was talking about the benefits of GMOs in agriculture and spoke this idea in me that organic is not necessarily what is commonly thought of as that being, a better choice for your health and for the environment. The topics of health and environmental effects between organic and non-organic, or conventional as I'll call it, agricultural systems, are what drove my initial research. I wanted to find out if organic agriculture is truly better than conventional in these two areas, since they are ultimately the most important sustainability-wise and for creating the most human good in America. So after long hours of poring through scholarly articles in DU Compass, I came to the conclusion that conventional agriculture is currently better for the environment. This is pretty interesting since it is well proven that organic has a lower environmental impact per farming area. However, it also requires more farming land, total land, since it has a lower efficiency rate than conventional. This basically means that organic requires more land to produce the same crop yields as conventional. That means more land must be cleared, which generates higher ecosystem loss. Additionally, farming equipment needs to be ran more often in order to maintain the extra land, which leads to higher CO2 outputs. Now, health impacts between the two were definitely more ambiguous. It is not totally clear what type of produce is healthier for humans. However, I found multiple studies that prove there is more pesticide residue and nitrate content in conventionally farmed produce. However, there's no current evidence that these substances in this concentration are bad for human health. I ultimately determined that the two main benefits promoted by organic were largely unjustified. With this being established that organic is not what it's commonly chalked out to be, I shifted my research into some of the other drawbacks. And the biggest problem I can find was the cost of organic produce. The price differential between organic and conventional crops is common knowledge to most people. A quick stop at a local grocery store is proof enough of this claim. Through my research, I found that organic produce is, on average, 10% more expensive than its conventional counterpart. This creates a hefty price barrier that can prevent lower-income consumers from accessing these types of food. These price differences I found in my research were reflected in my field study. In it, I went to a Safeway next to DU and took notes on the fresh produce section. Every organic food was more expensive than conventional, and sometimes it ranged to as much as 20% more. Interestingly, they were also sectioned off from each other, kind of emphasizing a sort of class difference between the two consumer types. So through a field study and research, I had firmly proven that organic food is more expensive for consumers, but I wanted to find out if this also applied to producers as well, the farmers. And this was pretty scarce on the internet, so I decided to, address this in my study. And I reached out to local organic farm owners and eventually landed an interview with Sally Herbert, the CEO of Altius Farms. Altius is an aeroponic farm in Denver that utilizes organic practices but is not USDA certified organic. Aeroponic farming involves towers of plants that absorb nutrients through gas rather than soil. Mrs. Herbert revealed that she would have had to spend thousands to tens of thousands of dollars in order to become USDA organic certified. For small farmers such as yourself, along with the majority of farms in America, this was not affordable. Now she can't advertise her food as certified organic, despite the use of organic practices. The price of organic is a definitive problem for producers, but they also face other issues. Yield differential is a major one. Without GMOs and chemical pesticides, many crops are lost to disease or other variables. They also don't grow at nearly the rate conventional crops do, which contributes to the price consumers must bear at the grocery store. Low yields and high prices both connect to common welfare in America. According to the USDA findings, 10.2% of Americans struggle with food insecurity at some point in 2021. This number will only continue to increase if the organic industry continues to grow at the rate it has. It's common sense, making food more expensive will make it more inaccessible. So what can ultimately be done about this issue? In my finding, I found, one fairly simple answer to this problem, and that's to not buy organic produce. Knowledge about the truth of organic is not widespread among the American population, and it'll be hard to combat the common notion that it's better for your health and for the environment. However, it is more than necessary to take these steps. I learned through my research that consumers generally believe these conceptions about organic to be true. I backed this up in my survey of 104 DU students, in which I found that the overwhelming majority of DU students believe that organic produce is better for the health and the environment, and that they were more likely to purchase organic. These ideas must be fought with proper education on this subject. Consumers ultimately have the power to control the markets, and if there is a decline in organic sales, many farmers will likely switch back to conventional systems and move us away from what can be relatively harmful practices in our current organic system. I'm obviously limited in how many people I can educate on this topic. However, I believe that I can still have an impact within the DU community. Information can be spread through infographic posters in community and class areas, social media posts, and accounts focused solely on organic education will further help spread this information, and tabling in places like the Sky Bridge just to meet person to person with that. And there are a lot of issues with our current farming systems, but they can continue to be solved with scientific developments. Organic systems block us off from this option, and until technologies advance, our best option is to stick with our current conventional systems.